This is the hashtag Blackout Podcast.
Are you listening? Damn.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the hashtag Blackout Podcast. I'm Jared.
And I am Jay.
And welcome to another fun episode. Spoiler alert, today we're actually going to talk about the Batman versus Superman movie. So we're going to give our own little review, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, turn this off, go watch the movie, then re-download us and listen on up and see what you think. So, Jay, how was your week this week?
It's pretty good, not bad. Have a funny little story to tell from this morning.
All right.
And it's pretty much what every parent that grew up in the 80s would love to discuss with their child.
Okay, let's hear it.
And it is cartoons. So we got up this morning. Kids are watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, you know, that boring crap.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I'm done with that.
So we started talking about cartoons, and the wife and I, we started getting into cartoons we used to watch and discussing it with TJ. And we started talking about David the Gnome and all these Nickelodeon shows from back in the day, like Double Dare and...
Yeah, Double Dare.
And Darkwing Duck and Count Duckula and all these shows back in the day. And it just got to be such a wonderful, nostalgic feeling to talk about this with your son, with your kids, because they have absolutely no clue what they were missing. I was telling them, like, we'd wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and from 7 until probably noontime, it was just nonstop cartoons.
Yeah, that's right. And it would be on the regular channels like ABC, NBC, CBS.
Yes,
and Nickelodeon. There wasn't like any of these specialized channels, and then ABC wasn't just like Animal Doctor all day, Saturday.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny.
So that was
cool.
pretty much the highlight of my week, the highlight of my morning, and it just put a big smile on my face. So
that's sort of funny.
Yeah, how was your week?
Oh man, it was good. It started out a little interesting because my daughter is in a dance class and she's 6, right? So you know how it is when kids get involved in those activities. Well, they actually sent out an email this week, and they sent a note home this week talking about a dad dance for their recital that's coming up.
Right.
And so it was like, calling all dance dads, get on out here and participate in the dad dance. So at first I thought it was like a dance that I was doing, that we were doing with our daughters, in the show. But no, we get there and it's just dads. So, I mean, just picture a bunch of mid-20s up to mid to late 40s dads with most of which with dad bod, you know what I'm saying?
Dad pants too.
Oh man, dad pants, dad shorts,
dad jeans,
dad jeans, like everything, dad something. So, I mean, there was 2 cool people. I was one of them, of course. But man, it was crazy because we were dancing and the instructor, this little girl who's, all of probably 20 years old. And flipping around all over the place, stretching all over the place. She's running us through stretches, and you could hear all of our bones cracking, and oh man, you could just feel everybody's knees buckling as we stretch. So then, finally get into the dance. So the music that we start out with is "Jump Around," back in the day, Cypress Hill, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we so we start with "Jump Around." We get up. Oh man, what do? We do some kind of step move, then we do the Roger Rabbit, and then we do a stomp. Then we do some kind of jump rope move, then raise the roof. And then now our homework over spring break, because the kids are on spring break, is to learn how to do the whip and the nae-nae. Oh. Now this is what's funny.
No.
I was the only black dad in there. So the lady's like, you guys know what the whip and the nae-nae is? And some of the guys like, oh yeah, my daughter is showing me how to do that. Or my daughter showed me that or something like that. They know how to do that. And they're like, have you ever seen it? And they're like, no. And I'm the only one who's like, yep, I know what it is. So she whips out her phone, plays the video, and you see just a bunch of dads hovered around the phone. We're all just watching it. And I could just see the sweat beating up on all these dads' faces because they're like, how am I going to do the whip and the nae-nae? And they're like, I'm going to have to watch this video Basalento or whatever his name is for the next week and change because I need to learn the whipping nene. Now, me personally, I know the moves. I'm best at the stanky leg, but
and then the teacher calls on you and says, "Jared, would you care to demonstrate this for our class?"
Demonstrate. She didn't put that on me this time, but I knew she had it in her mind because she was looking at me like when she asked about the dance, she was looking directly at me. She was like, "Have you guys heard of the whipping nene?" But she was looking at me as she said it, and I was like, "Of course."
Of course.
Yeah. So now I gotta be the pro on this one this time. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's like it started out. It's like 8 of us, but she said by the time we get to the show, it's like 1 rehearsal per week for the next few weeks. By the time we get to the show, it might end up being like 20 or 30 dads out there. So nice. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun.
And of course, this is in front of an audience, right?
Oh yeah, like a full-on audience with like 10 different classes of girls.
Nice.
Each of which class has a range between 10 and 20 students. So. So I'm sure it's going to be big. I mean, there'll be grandmas and grandpas too, aunts and uncles. It's going to be stupid. So, you know me, man. I don't care about getting in front of a crowd and doing something.
Yeah.
So,
and you will probably be right front and center.
Well,
they will nominate you. They will nominate
actually,
you.
The way we've lined up so far, I'm sort of like in the middle, just because I think she went by height. Because there's a few guys who are, there's probably like actually I'm one of the 2 tallest guys, and I'm just 6 feet, 6 foot. So they put like the other few shorter guys in the front couple rows, probably just so they don't get, out heighted so you can see them, and they put the taller guys in the back. But still, I'm ready for it. If they want me to do it, I'll break it down. I'm ready. So
there you go.
Yeah, so dad dance with dad bod is going to be dad crazy.
Don't forget the dad jeans and the dad shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Those New Balance. Got to get those New Balance out there.
Them New Balance walking shoes.
There you go.
Oh, man. Actually, there were probably, let's see, out of the 8 of us, there were probably like 4 guys with those shoes. I kid you not. It was funny. So, oh man. Anyway, yeah. So I guess I'll keep you updated on how that goes.
Right.
But
cool.
Yeah. But all right. I guess. Well, let's go ahead and get into this Batman versus Superman review. Normally we start out with what broke the internet. Well, basically this broke the internet after the movie came out that Thursday night that it came out. I mean, leading on into this second week of the film. I mean, everybody has all kinds of emotions, all kinds of opinions. Everybody's in their fields. They're in their fields all over the place.
Broke it in many ways.
Oh, man, it's all over the place. So, I mean, there were some great parts. There were some absolutely horrible parts. There were some confusing parts. It was like a 50-50 like love-hate with this movie.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
But, it's definitely I don't know. We'll see what we think. So, go ahead and just tell me a couple things that you liked.
Well, first I'm going to start off, and I'm going to say I went into this movie really wanting to love it, but I only came out liking it. Yeah. And I think my problem is that I heard the initial reviews, and they were very, very positive. But then that very first premiere on that Thursday before it came out, there were a lot of reviews that were, like you said, 50-50. It was split. People were hating it. People were loving it.
Yep.
So I think that's when I went into it looking for something wrong. I went into the movie and I sat down, and I think I had it in my mind that let me find something wrong. And I really didn't want to do that. But, but I'll tell you one thing that I really did like. This dude was a straight up G. He was a straight up gangster. Batfleck.
Batfleck?
Batfleck was a straight up G. I loved him. I have to say it's probably the best Batman that I've seen.
Okay.
I thought he was. I thought he was ruthless. The fights that were choreographed were great. I think he was a Batman that a lot of people wanted. I know a lot of people may have had their issues with him because he's Ben Affleck. I think people had that Daredevil in their mind, but the way it came in, I thought he was great. Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, she was great for only the 15, 20 minutes that she was in there. You know, I thought she was wonderful. I loved her. Even the crowd even cheered once she got on film.
Oh yeah, see that didn't happen in my theater because I saw it the Tuesday after it came out, so almost a week later, and then I mean there was like 8 of us in the theater that night. So I mean I went late. I went after the kids went to bed. I mean it was like a 10 o'clock show pretty much. So so maybe everybody was just chill at that point, or maybe everybody else had already seen it once and they were seeing it again, and I was the only one who hadn't seen it. So I don't know.
I got you.
So Go ahead.
And another thing that I really did like, and I mean there are some other things we could talk about as well, but another character that I say I like was Alfred. Jeremy Irons played Alfred Pennyworth, so I really loved his character. I mean, he was probably in the same boat as Wonder Woman. He didn't have much screen time, but the interaction between him and Bruce Wayne was really good, and I thought that chemistry was great. I wanted to see more of him. You know, what about you? What did you like about the movie? Or did not like?
Right. Okay, so yeah, on Alfred, I mean, we'll go there first. I did like Jeremy Irons. I think he did a great job. I love the fact that he was like really cheeky with him, you know, like the Brits like to say cheeky. Like he was really like snarky, really I don't know, just sort of giving it all to Batman, you know, just talking to him like, you know, how just like a parent would just talk to you, just like, you know, just not sugarcoat anything. I love the fact that he did that. He did great. So I was happy there. You know, I would have to say that, you know, Wonder Woman, I loved her character. I was happy that we actually finally got to see her, but I think it, you know, and I'm sort of sad that it took so long for her to actually show up in costume, you know, on the screen. We had many allusions to who she was. Obviously, everybody knew that she was going to be in the movie because we saw the trailers.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was, you know, happy to finally see her. I think she did a great job there. Let's see, Henry Cavill as Superman, solid performance again. You know, not over the top amazing, not, you know, not way under the radar, you know, not terrible. He was, you know, just sort of, you know, hit that same flat line as he did last time. He was good. Not as in he died. Like, well, I guess he did die eventually, but you know, it was, he did a good job. He did a good job. And then, Amy Adams, she played her character well, but I think the way that they portrayed Lois Lane was like so much damsel in distress. I mean, like every single time something happened to her, Superman was there, which is of course the way it's supposed to be. I know that's sort of how the comics go, but I mean, I don't know. I think they might have went a little over the top with that, but I mean, overall, she did a great job. Lex Luthor, okay, he wasn't on my like list, so we ain't gonna go there yet. And Ben Affleck, I'm still in the middle. You know, okay, my favorite Batman would be number one, the first Batman movie, Batman, which goes back to
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton back in the day. I loved him. And then also,
I was going to say I can't think of his name, but the sick 1960s Batman.
Oh yeah, well, from TV show. Yeah. I can't remember his name either. Why can't I remember his name? We'll figure that out. Somebody remind us who that is. I really want to know because I can't remember it. He can't remember it. Anyway, and then I really did like Christian Bale in that Dark Knight series.
Did you like his voice?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, I think Ben Affleck tried to continue that, from that Dark Knight, series into this one. He tried to have that old, grizzled, like gravelly, scratchy voice or whatever. I think basically this is what happens. I think, as an actor, you have one level that you start at, and then another level where you just sort of end. And then when you end at that level, it's like you've sort of progressed through your character to a point. Basically, right. I think the voice of the two characters between Christian Bale and Ben Affleck is the progression. Christian Bale sort of started it off, and he did great with that voice. I think better with the character, but then Ben Affleck sort of like knocked it out of the park as far as voice. And let me tell you something.
The voice modulator had a lot to do with that. You know, because I honestly think if there is another Batman, eventually there probably will be, but another movie with Ben Affleck in it and Batman, I think that voice modulator is, you know, it's pretty much going to stay the same. I don't think it's going to be like the Christian Bale from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight Rises. I think it's gonna stay the same. It won't be as weird of a transition from voice from movie to movie like Christian Bale's Batman was, but you know.
I mean, whatever they did with it, like, it just sounded good. I mean, you know me, I'm a voiceover guy. Yeah. Like, I pay attention to the voice and the way it's projected in every character. And, and I really did like, I liked the voice. I liked the voice, the way it carried over. Now, I was sad not to see Morgan Freeman. I was sad to not see Michael Caine. I mean, that's just one of those things. Here we go. Adam West. Adam West.
Yes. Why couldn't I think of Adam West?
The OG Batman, Adam West.
With the bams and the whams flying across the screen every time he punched somebody.
Pow. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, so Adam West. So yeah, he was great as well. But yeah, I mean, overall though, like I said before, I mean, it was for me, it was like a 50 to 65% like, and a 35 to 50% dislike overall. I mean, there was some cool stuff in there.
What'd you feel about the visual effects?
Visual effects, I think were good. I think they were really good. I like the beginning where they sort of, they began with sort of the ending of Superman, this past Superman movie. And I like that. And I like to see the ground level version of it. Right. So that was cool.
That was great.
As we got further into the movie, with the kryptonite dust, with the lead dust, with the bats flying all around the Batman kid. Oh, okay. I got to talk about that. Okay. Okay. First of all, I'm going to say this. I know a bit about the Batman story. Of course, I know how his parents died and how Bruce, sort of left. Yeah, we get that. And then I guess in this version, he falls, into a pit, pretty much just a hole.
Right.
Yeah, in the well. And then the bats start flying after him, right? So I thought it was funny because, like, as he, like, sort of got up and realized the bats weren't hurting him, and he was, like, rising up, rising up out of the well. Like, I thought it was so funny because his mouth was wide open. I mean, if you ever been to the zoo, if you ever seen a Discovery Channel documentary on bats, them suckers poop all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, they're disgusting. So I'm like, man, this kid would have poop all up in his mouth. He'd be like sitting there eating crap, just flying everywhere.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing too. All right. So the thing about that is, I had my issues with that part too when I first saw it, but then I realized it was a dream. And there was this voiceover, like, right after that said, they brought me to the light. And it was some other dialogue with that as well, but then I realized it was a dream. It was a dream sequence that he was having about his burying his parents. So that initially that caught me off guard as well. I didn't know what to think about that. I was like, this is freaking ridiculous. I don't know what they're doing now. I hope the rest of the movie isn't like this. Yeah, I totally understand what you were thinking at that point.
Yeah, I just thought it was sort of silly. I mean, that was just one of those things. I mean, I realized that, it was all special effects and, it's just sort of part of the way, the part of probably the decision that the kid made, as a character choice. I mean, the rest of the visual effects I think were good. Of course, like the big boss fight at the end, I thought was really good. I thought it was sort of clunky. I thought there were some things that they sort of dropped in there that were sort of displaced, out of place in the film. But overall, all visual effects being considered, I think they were good. What about you?
I thought it was great being a visual effects guy and studying this stuff. Weta Digital, the guys behind Lord of the Rings, Planet of the Apes, and the first Man of Steel. I thought they did a really great job. Effects were beautiful. I have absolutely no complaints. Yeah. No complaints whatsoever with it. So I really enjoyed it.
Let's talk about like some stuff that we didn't like. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know enough of the comic, but eventually at one point in time, Batman and Superman come, their confrontation comes to a head where they get in a fight, right? So Batman has made all these little like cool, gadgets and weapons and whatnot to combat Superman. So a couple of which are capsules or bullets that turn into powder. Well, one thing is let's see here, lead powder. So I guess Superman can't see through lead or whatever. So I guess through lead dust or something like that. So he couldn't see. So Batman sort of disappeared for a second. So he finally went through that. And then the next thing is Batman whips out like this freaking grenade launcher that shoots like a powdered kryptonite dust grenade. So just imagine if you're powdering your baby's butt, right? With that Johnson's baby powder, right? Yeah. And it's just like a cloud of dust everywhere. Well, just multiply that times like 10. Right. And so that's all up and around Superman's face and his head or in his hair, like all around his body. And he is totally 100% full on inhaling it like he just finished running a marathon. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so he's choking and he gets weak and everything. And then that happens like a couple more times in the course of the fight. And I'm just like, I know Superman is, I know kryptonite is his biggest weakness. So wouldn't inhaling, like full on inhaling that dust, kill him? Like I thought he was going to die right there. I was like, dang, the movie's over already. True. I thought that was going to kill him, but it didn't. He like survived that 2 or 3 more times. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I hadn't thought about it to that extent, but I do see what you're saying. I have no way to even talk about that in detail. I do understand the kryptonite dust, inhaling that. It should have caused more damage, but I could see it in him when it really damaged it, put him down, and Batman was able to go, to really get in on him and beat him down some more. But
so does he have powers that are sort of like Wolverine's, where he has like some like self-generating qualities in his powers, or no? Or you don't know? I don't know.
I don't know Superman to that extent, but I do know that he does regenerate to a certain point. If you remember that one point where I think it was a nuclear bomb. He and Doomsday were in space, and the nuclear bomb went up there. And boom, blew it up. So he was practically dead.
That's true. So
sunlight. Sunlight is his pretty much his regeneration. Regenerating factor.
Yeah, that's sort of crazy. Yeah, so I was just trying to figure that out because I couldn't. I was just like, so is he like clearing his system? As we speak. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I just thought it was a little crazy. You know who'll know? All the nerds out there. Nerds, we want you right now to send us a tweet, to send us an IG post if you want, if you have an explanation, and just like hit us at like hashtag HTBOPBVS, Batman versus Superman, and just tell us, does Superman regenerate? How does that work? I just want to know how the kryptonite inhaled by Superman did not kill him. What about some stuff that you think? What about stuff that you didn't like?
Do we have that much time?
I mean, come on, just bring it on.
I'm gonna tell you that I did enjoy the movie. The good stuff far outweighed the bad stuff. I'm gonna tell you something that I was on the fence about. Was Jesse Eisenberg's
okay. Yeah, he's a dislike. Yeah.
So apparently he's not the Lex Luthor that we know. But he's the son of Lex Luthor, Alexander Luthor. So, I mean, I have to say he totally went for it. He went for the character. He put his all into it. He was sinister. He was ruthless. He was conniving and manipulative. But he was very, very extremely intelligent, which was great. He knew the identities of both Batman and Superman before they even knew. Not to mention, he's the one that gave the members of the Justice League that we were teased with. He's the one that gave them their names. If you really look at that, that's what I heard. He's also the one that figures out how to access those Kryptonian archives. Just after spending such a short time within that ship. So he is a very smart person. Yeah. But the direction that he went in, I'm not sure if he should have gone in that direction as far as like his characteristics, because it felt very Jokery very Joker-like, maybe even a little Riddler-like.
They feel a little too forced, you think?
Maybe he was like a little, his quirky mannerisms and that maybe that sick twisted sense of humor that he had. It felt very much like.
I thought you were gonna say he see dead people.
No, it just really felt like a Joker type person, like a Joker type character. I know it's different than what we were expecting from quote unquote Lex Luthor, but I see at the end he shaves his head. Maybe in the next movie we'll get a different type. Maybe something that we know. Maybe he'll just carry on with the same type of Lex Luthor that he brought in this film. Yeah. But I guess I could stand behind it. But it just threw me off for a bit because that was the first thing I noticed about it.
All right. So now that you say that he was Alexander, he was Lex Luthor's son, I sort of figured it out. But he still was not my favorite, I would say. Yeah. So initially I thought that, dang, he was super young when, and Superman was older. Whereas in the original, like Christopher Reeve Superman, even though I know this is sort of a reboot, but in that original, Gene Hackman was older. Right. Christopher Reeve, obviously a younger Superman. Gene Hackman played Lex Luthor. So I was like, well, why the heck did they flip the age? Like I was just trying to figure that out. But now that you said that, okay, I get that now. That's clear. So, as a matter of fact, Jesse Eisenberg. Okay, so he was supposed to play Jimmy Olsen.
Yes,
one of the other reporters with Lois and Clark Kent at the Daily Planet. But when
Clark's
best
friend, supposedly best friend,
his quote unquote best friend. But they actually originally wanted to audition Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad, but he didn't want to do it.
That would have been nice.
Either he didn't want to do it, or when Eisenberg came in for his audition, he did such a great job. As auditioning for that, and auditioning for Luthor, that they just went away with they did away with the older version, and they went with the younger version, maybe twisted the story a bit. This is the thing. Like when you go in for an audition, you can prepare for one character, but when you get in there, if you do such a great job as one character, they can say, hey, we want you to try reading as this. They'll give you a little time, then you do it. Or, you prepare for a lot of characters and then they have you audition for one character. Sometimes it could be all over the map. So maybe they just said, hey, we want you to do this. Then when he came in there, maybe he did such a great job. Maybe they saw something. They're like, hey, we want you to try this. Act a little kooky, act a little silly. See what would happen if you played Lex Luthor's son. Because maybe, just maybe, they were going to try to consider him for a different type of role in the movie. Right. Have Cranston as main Lex Luthor, and then have him as sort of like a son prodigy of him, something like that. So maybe he knocked it out of the park in the audition. But yeah, in the movie, he didn't hit it. He didn't get to the point. He didn't progress. Yeah, I was talking about the progression earlier. Okay. So he was sort of like at the beginning to middle of his progression. I think like his nervous tics and, his little tweaks and, just sort of like mini outbursts, like, I can understand where the motivation comes from in the character. He didn't show us fully where that came from. Like, it didn't seem like it was an organic process where he just sort of came out and all of a sudden, having all these random little mental breakdowns / bipolar, flashes. Like I don't know. It was just not all the way there for me. I know he's a smart character. I know that, he pulled off like, a major, sort of like a major underhanded coup, if you will, by bringing back Zod and turning him into Doomsday. Yeah. But I don't know, man. There's just something that just wasn't totally there for me. And so, yeah, I mean, that's Lex Luthor. Another thing was when, they took forever to get to Wonder Woman, like in a costume. I think it was all just sort of clunky because they kept showing us this photo. They kept showing us this stuff, and we never saw her in action. Like, I think that originally when Bruce Wayne saw, the picture of Wonder Woman back in like 1918 or whatever, when he originally saw that, maybe that's when they should have done like a little flashback scene just to give us some kind of origin for her. I mean, even like a 5-minute scene would have been great, just like a little origin. They could have basically like saw the picture, looked at Wayne's face, then back to the picture, and sort of like meld into the picture, and the picture comes to life and turns into a scene, you know, just showing us sort of something about where she came from instead of like giving us random files, which we didn't have enough time to read what they were titled, saying where her powers came from. Then all of a sudden she just, you know, at the end, you know, she got that email from Bruce Wayne, which said, okay, look what I found out. I found your picture, blah, blah, blah. So then she goes through and, you know, starts looking at the Flash picture, the Cyborg picture, Aquaman picture. And then there's like little mini vignettes for all of those.
Yeah, which I really felt wasn't even necessary.
It wasn't necessary.
They should have had that as the post-credit scene. That's what I honestly think it should have been.
If it was a post-credit scene, or if we didn't even just see the vignettes, if we'd only just seen the picture of those and saw the name, you know, saw a name of the character, of the superhero under there, then maybe that would have been better. But all this stuff, she finds out that people know, that Batman knows about her. We find out, you know, 100% that she's Wonder Woman. If you hadn't seen a preview, you'd find out at that point, right. You know, and it was like right at the end of the movie. We like almost the whole world saw the previews, right?
Yeah.
Why not put her as Wonder Woman earlier in the film? I mean, even if she would have come out, you know, I don't know, at some point in time, maybe when they like blew up the you know, the government building, something like we just needed her earlier in the movie. It was just, I think it was just too much, too late. Instead of too little, too late, too much, too late. That's what I think.
I don't know. I think the pacing for her was pretty decent. I mean, because this complete movie was just all over the place, I gotta say. It was all over the place.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, the pacing from different things was completely off, but I think for her, just the little teasers throughout the whole film, and then bam, her appearing at the end, that's what I think the audience loved, because if they'd have showed her earlier, I don't think the audience would have reacted the same way. I honestly don't think so. But then having that bam right at the end when she's coming to fight Doomsday, I think the time that she was in it, how they presented her was good. I just think the pacing and the plot, so many different plots and stories going on, I think that's kind of killing it for me. I mean,
I don't know. Okay, so we just gonna go ahead and say this: we're not Marvel fans only. We're not DC fans only. We are comic fans. So we're not hating on one because we want to love on another. But I mean, if I'm looking back, I'm thinking about Age of Ultron, right? Mm-hmm. When the Vision came out, that's when people lost their stuff in the theater. I wouldn't watch it. Both times I watched it, that's when people just like went bananas, right? When Vision showed up. So if I'm not correct, I know Vision was before the last boss battle. He was, you know, he was a little bit earlier in the movie. I don't know, you know, percentage of the way through the movie he came in, but it didn't feel like to me personally, it didn't feel like it was at the end. And that's what it felt like for Wonder Woman for me. It felt like she was just thrown in at the end. So so maybe not necessarily, you know, that she come out during the you know, the Capitol blow up scene or the Senate hearing blow up scene, but maybe, like I said earlier, you know, when we get that first picture of her through Bruce Wayne, or after, you know, when she steals that little decoder from him, and then you know, she maybe at that point we should have gone to a scene of her looking at it, you know, and basically having a flashback through that photo. You know what I'm saying? I personally think that would have been a better point to put her discovering the fact that there are metahumans known, you know, by more than just one or two people. And also, you know, I think that point would have been a little bit earlier in the film, so it wouldn't have looked like, oh dang, Wonder Woman's getting on a plane. We got to throw this in here so we can like justify her entrance into the movie. I think people would have still lost their crap, you know. I think it would have been a better point, because then we would have been able to see her in action then. And then they probably would have lost their crap again when she actually came out in the boss battle at the end. So I don't know. I mean, it's all over the place. Maybe. So, you know, this is what I say. I say we should just have people hit us with a tweet again, tell us what they think about Wonder Woman, how she came in, or tell us what they liked, what they didn't like, whatever. I think people should hit us with that, and then also hashtag us. Hashtag HTBOP, BVS, and tell us what you thought about Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor, everything. We just want to hear it all. So
is there any particular scenes that stood out as great to you?
Oh man, let's see here. Well, I definitely like the Save Martha, instant besties, which you posted earlier this week on our Instagram. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious because it was hilarious. I did like that scene. I like the fact that they both sort of come to a head. It's just like when you're about to pop a pimple, like right at that moment, and like just before the pimple explodes. It's like, never mind. I think that was the line where he's like, "Save Martha," and then Batman's like, "What? What'd you say? Why you put my mama's name in your mouth?" You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, and then, of course, Lois comes and saves the day then, which I thought was hilarious. She saved Superman for a change rather than the other way around. Yeah. And she's like, "Hold on, Martha's his mom's name too." And then Batman, you could just see, I'll say in that point, Ben Affleck actually showed me something, because you could see it in his eyes as a character that, he was like, dang, his mom's name is Martha too. My mom died. I've been going through this struggle, my entire life, thinking about my dad uttering his last words, Martha, and looking at my mom's casket, or my mom's, casket in mausoleum. If this guy is normally a good guy, seems like he wants to do good, I want to help him. So if his mom, I don't want his mom to die, so we're not going to let that happen. So that's when he changed. And that's when I sort of accepted him as Batman, honestly. So it took all the way to there. So I think that was my favorite scene. That one, and Batman doing CrossFit. I love that too.
Yeah, that was funny. I like that part. I enjoyed that part. But I think there's like little things that you really had to pay attention to, like at the beginning of the movie when the two cops were going into that house to investigate, and I guess they find these people downstairs in the basement. Batman had already been there, had already branded this dude, but there's one point where one of the cops was walking in the room, and Batman is just in the corner of the wall, just on the ceiling.
Yeah, that was sort of freak.
All of a sudden, the cop turns around, shoots at him, and Batman crawls up through this hole. But that whole little movement of Batman going up, crawling on the ceiling through this hole, it just seemed like Batman was this type of creature or something. It was like an actual bat, an animal crawling on the wall. It's just the whole movement, the whole fluid movement of him.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought he was almost like a roach, like you shot light.
It looked like an animal. It looked like an insect, Yeah. And at the end, the Save Martha scene, not the instant bestie scene, but the point where he was flying to actually save her. Alfred takes over the Batwing, and he jumps through and he just started beating down everybody. I thought that was great. The fight choreography was great in that.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. So there's quite a few really great points, really great scenes in here, but then there's a bunch of scenes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of junk in there. Yeah, there's some trash. Yeah, I was just gonna short mention that too. The that scene where Batman comes up through the floor and he's just like killing fools, just like knocking.
Yeah, and he's just throwing them around with ease.
Amazing. It was amazing. That was a great scene. That was I would say the best fight scene of the whole movie. I did some fight choreography in college, and I choreographed a couple plays, fight choreography, and yeah, man, like I think that was the best fight choreography of everything. So yeah, so I was a big fan of that. What about some stuff? What about some stuff we missed? What do you think? What haven't we talked about?
There's some dumb moments. There's some very dumb moments, and I'm going to go back to the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Why wait in a building when you see this big foreign machine outside busting up the earth in the ground near you, and you're just looking through this top floor window, staring at this thing? I'm like, dude, get out of there! Get down the stairs, please.
So if you hadn't seen Man of Steel and hadn't seen, or I guess seen this, that's like a portion of the end of Man of Steel when they had, the big alien, the big Krypton, warship like flying through or whatever. And it's just like cutting up buildings, crashing into stuff, shooting things, and so they cut to Wayne Enterprises, I don't know, like on the 97th floor or something, way up in the air. And yeah, so you see everyone there, maybe like in the boardroom in the office, and Batman calls them like, okay, get everybody out of the building. Why is everybody still in the building? At that point, you see the city going down, but you still have your people working.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly.
like a meme that I saw. That's like a meme that I saw where like somebody's like in traction, like at a hospital with a body cast on, and he calls into his boss. He's like, "Boss, I got a body cast on," and he's like, "Well, I expect your work to be done by 5." Like, really? I mean, come on, man. This dude is crazy. So, yeah, so I thought that was silly, too. And then the fact that somehow everybody got out of the building except for
the boss. Crap, I forgot his name, but he was
I forgot his name,
friend.
too. But, yeah, man on scene. Yeah, so everybody got out but him, and then he doesn't make it. I was like, man, come on, man. It's just sort of silly. And yeah, man, I just thought that was a little silly. I did also think the guy who played the office worker that had like the beam that basically,
smashed his legs.
Cut off smashed his legs. When I saw him in the wheelchair, before he went into the Lex Luthor wheelchair and eventually blew up in the courtroom, like all I could see was Lieutenant Dan. Like Lieutenant Dan, and like it even seemed like they had a harken back.
It felt like that.
Because I think in that last scene before he exploded, he had on an all white suit or like a cream white suit, sort of like Forrest Gump did in the Forrest Gump movie. So like all I kept saying, I was like, I just wanted to hear him say, "I ain't got no legs." You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to hear him say, and yeah. So I don't know. I thought he played an interesting character. I thought his motivation going from, just the guy who got injured to like immediately being just mad and pissed off at the world. I mean, hey, I know that it was like an act of, I guess, a Superman God, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That happened to him, but like, I don't know. It just got to a point where it was just like, I think he might have been a little over the top with his hate, but also I think maybe he was just showing, the overall sense of people in the city starting to go against Superman. So that's probably where his motivation was, really.
Very, very true. Now, what did you think about the Batman's dream sequences? Like, there's one point where the Flash came in, which
I could tell if that was Flash or Batman. So that was Flash, right? Or not
that was
Batman.
Flash, and I didn't know why he was saying Lois Lane is the key.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they needed that part. That whole complete dream part right there could have just been done with, gone. Because I'm assured that Lois Lane is the key. I'm thinking, hopefully that has something to do with the next film.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe it has something to do with the next film because...
But they still didn't need it,
Yeah.
Why would you need that?
Yeah, it was a little silly. I mean, some of his dream sequences were a little off. I think that was a little crazy, and it showed him in some kind of like post-apocalyptic world. So are we to believe that is
Dark side,
is that
maybe,
the Earth?
Possibly.
Or is that a different planet?
Yes, this particular part is kind of alluding to, from what I've read, Dark Side, which is a very, very powerful person, a very powerful character that's able to practically just destroy everything. He could destroy Superman.
Okay, so I get it. So yeah, that's a whole different world. Or that's a whole different version of this world. So I don't know. It was just a little much. We didn't see Darkseid in that. I know that. We just saw like those little flying bat people.
The parademons.
Yeah, that was sort of freaky. And initially when Batman, showed up, I thought that those were like little bat people with Batman. I thought those were his guys. So I don't know. So it was silly. The whole,
I thought Lois Lane throwing the kryptonite spear in the water was just dumb.
Yeah, I thought it was dumb too. And then I read sort of, I listened to sort of like an Easter egg video of that. And I guess that sort of harkens back to one of the earlier Superman movies where, where he's saved and pulled away from the kryptonite, saved from the water. So I think that was like a Easter egg callback. I don't know, it was a little silly,
maybe.
but that's where I think it came from, personally.
And then to go along with that, it just popped into my head.
Mm-hmm.
So how does she automatically know that, hey, let's go get this kryptonite spear from the water?
Yes.
So we could fight Doomsday with.
I don't even think she knew. I don't even think anybody told
personally.
her.
Yeah, nobody said anything about it. She just
like, oh, I know, kryptonite spear. Let's throw it in.
Let's go
I
get
bet
it.
that'll kill him. Yeah. That was silly. So essentially, I mean, we can blame two people for Superman's death. We can blame Wonder Woman for cutting off, what's his name? Cutting off Doomsday's hand, because basically he regenerated with like the spikes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that,
but I guess
pierced
nobody knew.
Superman's heart.
Nobody really knew.
You ain't know it was gonna happen, but but that pierced Superman's heart, and then Lois Lane for getting the spear, because Superman was like, "I have to do this." So I don't know. Maybe we can't blame them, but maybe we can. I don't know. Oh, and then we haven't even gotten to like probably my overall favorite part of the movie, I would have to say, which is, Superman dies. The world is like mourning. Batman's sad because he's like, dang, I sort of did this. And Lois is all sad. Everybody's sad that Superman died, right? Mm-hmm. And we get to the end where Lois, has this dirt, and it's like a long sequence, the long funeral sequence between, where he's from in Smallville and then, at the at the U.S. Capitol, just everywhere they're mourning Superman. And then she finally drops this dirt on him. And then like the last, like half a second that we see of the movie, you see the dirt start to rise. Because at this point, I'm all confused in my head. I was like, does Superman come back or doesn't he? I can't remember. And I was like, oh, I hope he's not dead. I felt all sad. But then I was like, well, isn't he like one of the Justice League members? Isn't he like the leader of the Justice League? I don't know. So I was like, he has to come back. And this is comics. So a dead person has to come back. Well, of course, that last half a second that we see of the film, we see the dirt slowly lift. Like, it's like it comes up just a couple of centimeters, and then in scene, in movie. And I was like, oh, shoot, Superman's coming back. He's going to exact his wrath on everyone. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the next version is of this movie. Because I think after watching this, and after hearing all the reviews, and after seeing where they had issues, I think the next version, or the next movie in the line of this series, which I guess will be Justice League, will have a greater impact, a greater play off of this, and it'll actually be a lot better film altogether.
What did you think about like some of the religious tones? If you caught some of it,
like where?
Let's say there are a few points in the film, or at least one point of the Day of the Dead celebration that in Mexico, where Superman saved the kid from a burning building. He gets down there, and people are bowing, people are kissing his hand, they're touching him, and they're worshiping him like he's a god.
Yeah.
Like he's a Christ-like figure. Even the point where, let's see, where he's rescuing the woman from the flood on top of her house, and he's just hovering in the sky, and the sunlight is like shining right behind him. I knew I seen that in the actual painting of like Jesus hovering in the sky. Yeah. Sunlight right behind him, and there's people on the ground like looking at him like, okay, this is Christ coming, this is God coming to save me. Yeah, I didn't know how many people actually caught that type of stuff.
I did catch that, and I know the thing that they were going for in the movie is to portray Superman as the world's savior. I mean, there was even, some lines in there talking about, this world always wants a savior. We always want somebody to save us, for years and whatever, we've been talking about a savior, for us, and Superman has been that guy. So as far as the movie's concerned, I mean, I think it's fine. Obviously, my beliefs, Superman ain't the savior, but as far as the movie's concerned, I did catch some of that. I did, see how they were worshiping him, and I could see how he was conflicted. And, I mean, if you get into like the Christian story, if you break it down, I mean, there are people that say that Jesus was conflicted, at a certain point once he realized the total magnitude of what was on his shoulders, to come to save the sins of the world, in Christianity. I mean, that's what Jesus had on his heart. And then eventually, he questioned God by, when he prayed and sometimes, and he was like, take this away from me if you can, pass this cup to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And even like, God, my God, why do you forsake me? So like, these are all things, all things that maybe Henry Cavill, called on to get character motivation for those scenes, because essentially he was like their Jesus. You know what I'm saying? He was like the savior that everyone has been waiting for years and millennia, that is finally here. That's finally going to, change the way that the world goes. But obviously, he has a lot of flaws that,
and of
that
course,
he can't get
people
around.
hated him.
Yeah.
People hated him in this world.
There was a love-hate.
In the story of Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah. So I definitely caught the some of those religious undertones, and I caught that, and I think they played that well. Obviously, honestly, if they, if they were trying to, parallel it a little bit with, the story of Jesus and how he is, the savior, when he comes back, I think they did a good job. You know what I'm saying? He could see everything. He could do everything. He could hear people halfway across the world that were getting, hurt or injured. And so he went and he saved, you know what I'm saying? So I think they played that well, and the people, giving him worship, whatever, I think they played that well. I think, the hate, they played that well, just the same, having the guy, climb up on him and spray paint him and people, protesting and whatnot. I mean, that's stuff that we see every day right now, people protesting laws, religious laws one way or the other. Every vote that comes out about, the GLBT community, about, marijuana, being legalized, about fighting other countries, based on religious beliefs that they feel against us or vice versa. Like, I think that's good. I think they made that as current as they possibly could. So.
Right. Cool. Yeah. I just didn't know if a lot of people caught it. I know I heard Kevin Smith talking about it, on one of his podcasts, and it made me think. It had me thinking back through the movie, and I was like, okay, yeah, I did see that. I can relate that to things that I've heard growing up. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, well, there you go. Did
you see that LexCorp posted up on their Instagram an actual statement they were making? Like I guess Warner Brothers, they did this whole fake LexCorp website and Instagram account, and I guess they did a Twitter account as well.
That's funny. No, I didn't see it. What was it?
So they said, due to unfortunate circumstances, LexCorp Industries will be temporarily suspending its global operations. When interviewed about his actions against the fallen alien, Lex Luthor responded with, "Ding, ding, ding, ding. Are we entering the second round? We do not understand Mr. Luthor's actions, and LexCorp does not take responsibility for his actions. Thank you for being patient."
That's funny. I didn't see that. Was that a post like for April Fool's Day, or was that just what?
No, it came out on the 30th or 31st, I think.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I want to check that out.
That was cool. So I think apparently in June or July there's a 3-hour long DVD that's going to come out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that should be it should be interesting. I think this movie was 2.5 hours long, so I guess a good 30 minutes.
Cut, yeah.
30 minutes should maybe fill in some of those points. Yeah, answer some questions, and of course it's rated R, so I think I heard it's just Batman dropping a couple F-bombs, but I don't think it's anything hard like Deadpool or
That's so crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that it's good. I have to say that. I hope that it actually fills in all those blanks that we've been, trying to fill up. So this movie, I'll give it a solid 6. And I will say it is a go watch. It is a go and watch. But if you want to wait, then I would say wait till the DVD comes out so you can see the full 3 hour, because maybe there's something in there that you missed. So I'd say I give it a 6.
Yeah, and even though I kind of trashed on it a little bit during our review, I still feel it's a strong movie if you know these characters, if you know what's going on, if you read the comics. I would give it a 7.5 to 8. You know, I think it's definitely a go-see movie. Like I said, my initial reaction is based off of reading reviews from people that had seen it that Thursday night, and it made me go in there wanting to find something wrong. If I hadn't read any reviews, I probably would have gave it a high score.
Yeah.
But
Wait, what was that number you gave it again?
I said 7.5.
Oh, 7.5. Okay, 7.5 to 8. Okay, yeah. So we're within the same range, I would say. So
I mean, it's still a good go to see movie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're really not interested, like you said, wait until the DVD comes out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm conflicted. I can't wait to see, what people say about the DVD to see if I actually need to go buy it. We'll just say that. So I don't know. Well, okay, so you guys can let us know what you thought about the movie, good, bad, in between, what you like, what you didn't like. Now, to end this all, we're quickly going to tell you which Batman versus Superman character we would want to be for a year. And then we're going to post a Twitter poll. We're going to post a Twitter poll so you can vote between who I pick and who Jay picks. So we want to see, and then I want you to tweet us. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe there's somebody else who'd be a better character to be for a year, better person to be for a year. So it could be anybody in the whole film who you want to be for a year.
Jeez.
Whether they lived, they died. This is like a whole new reality where you're just existing as this person for a year. So what do you think? Who would you want to be?
Well, there's like 3 different people on my list that I'm trying to choose from.
Okay, go
The
for it.
first one, if I wasn't a man, I'd be Wonder Woman.
Okay, all right, yeah. That's
because
what's out in the street.
obviously she's a badass. You know,
Yeah.
she doesn't. You see all that little smirk on her face when Doomsday knocked her down, and she just got back up. Like,
It's like, whatever.
yeah, I'm about to put this beat down on you now.
Yeah.
Second person, it would have to be, or I guess the overall very first one would have to be Batman.
Okay.
That's like an obvious choice. You get to be a billionaire. You got cool gadgets. You get to go to parties. You get to hang out with hot chicks all day.
Yeah.
You know, other than that, I'd probably be Alfred. I get to hang out with Bruce Wayne. I know who Batman is. I know who Bruce Wayne is at night. You know, play around with gadgets, the same thing, you know. Other than that, I can't say I would love to be Superman. Can't say that. Lex Luthor, you know, thinking about it, I think maybe Lex Luthor would probably be on the bottom of that list.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying of all the characters you'd want to be for a year, you'd want to be Wonder Woman. Is that right? over anybody? Like over anybody?
If I was not a guy, I would want to be Wonder Woman.
That's cool.
But
I mean, it's a different reality, so you could be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, but you know, another story. Anyway, Batman. I would put Batman first, then Wonder Woman, then Alfred, then maybe Lex.
Okay. Wow. All right. Wow. Well, oh man, let me just think. Between all of them, I mean, I got to say I would have to be Superman, you know, and this harkens back to my childhood. I've always loved Batman, but let me just tell you, Superman was my dude. Like back in the day, this is a funny story. My parents actually bought me a Supergirl costume because they didn't have any Superman costume. So I left off the mask, right? It was the same S on your chest. It was just red and yellow. It wasn't pink back in the day. So I basically threw away the mask and had the rest of the Superman costume as it was. And I had a cape and everything. And I remember specifically running down the hall of my house because we sort of had like this longer hall to reach all the bedrooms in the back. So I would run like halfway down the hall and then act like I was jumping. And then I would act like I was flying by my parents' room. Like I was Superman. So I would like Superman bar none. Like I don't even know if I could even pick anybody else as a second or third because Superman is my OG dude right there. Like I have to say. So I mean, the dude could fly. He has heat vision. He can make the world spin backwards. Like if he does.
Oh wait, yeah.
If he does go in outer space, was that?
I'm trying to remember which one was that where he had to spin.
It's one of the older Superman movies.
Superman 2 or Superman 3.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, he like saves everyone. You know, like I just want it to be like the old school Superman though, like Christopher Reeve style, where I don't get conflicted about stuff, where I just like go and do stuff because I know I'm that good. You know, so Superman, and I mean, you know, he always get to fly back to Smallville, have mom's cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like that's got to be me right there. So yeah, so all right, well, we just want people to react to us. Let us know. We'll have a Twitter poll up. So what do you want to put as your Twitter poll answer? Because I'm just Superman. So what do you want to put? Wonder Woman or Batman? Just give it to me. Wonder Woman. I know it's gonna be Wonder Woman.
Crap. Let's go with Wonder Woman.
Okay,
it's new
great.
Day and age.
So who would you rather be, Wonder Woman or Superman for an entire year, all things considered, you know, based on their characters, based on what we said, whatever. We're going to put that up on Twitter. We're probably going to lead a poll up there for 2 or 3 days and see what everybody thinks. If you want to, you know, tag us in something, you can definitely hit us with that hashtag HTBOP. HTBOPBVS, and let us know what you thought of our review. Let us know what you thought of this movie for sure. So, right now I just want to say thank you guys for listening to us. This has been a fun show, a fun talk. And next week we'll come back with more stuff that broke the internet. We'll talk about what you guys thought about, our review and about this movie, Batman vs. Superman. We'll get into some other stuff. But, Jay, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find us.
You can find us at Instagram and Twitter at #Blackout Pod, on YouTube at #Blackout Podcast. And where else are we? We're all over the interwebs.
We're just looking at the internet all day long. That's all we do.
Yeah, at work we look at the internet.
Yep.
At home we miss out on our kids' lives because we look at the internet.
Trying
to bring great content to you guys,
right?
Because we absolutely just despise our family. We want to give you guys.
We don't want to talk to them at all.
Yeah, screw them.
Anyway, all right. Well, we look forward to hearing responses from people. Next week on the show, we will get into some crazy, crazy stuff of what broke the internet. So we can't wait for another show. We can't wait to hear what you guys say. So once again, I'm Jared.
And I am Jay, a.k.a. Wonder Woman for a year.
And we're blacking out.
Blacking out. Peace.